Wayne Sports Network.
It's in the Wayne.
Hello and welcome to Wayne Sports Network. I'm Troy Demikoff alongside Ilian Nunez. It is now playoff week in North Jersey, and it's time for our fourth show. So, Ilian, let's start with last week. We had a pretty big win last week. Tell me what you thought about it.
We won against Milburn. We came into that game confident that we were going to win. We needed the win, too, after our loss against Ultapan. And I also feel like they called us out on that game a little bit, thinking it was their homecoming night. Yeah. They called us out, and we answered by beating them.
Yeah, so you talked to one of our players in the hallway, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's send it to that interview.
Thanks, Troy. Now I'm here with Luke Bacchioni, star Mike Lightenbacker for the Wayne Hills Patriots. How you doing today, Luke?
Good, how are you?
What do you think about the regular season so far?
So, I think we've had a pretty good season. We've had some hurdles we had to get over. Some we've done good on, some we've done bad on. But, overall, I think definitely a step up from last year.
Yeah, I can 100% agree with you. So, what do you think the overall mindset for our team is going into the playoff game?
So, I think we just need to come in confident. I think it's definitely a winning game. The opportunity's there. We just got to show up.
Yeah. So, I know you guys have been practicing this week. How do you think the coaches have implied during practice heading into this game about this big playoff game that we have?
It's a very winnable game. I think we just got to come in, know what we're doing, have confidence, and the game's ours. We move on to the next week.
Do you think the team can handle the pressure going into this big playoff game?
Yeah, I do think we definitely can. Yeah, we just got to – everyone's mind's got to be there in the right place.
Time. We know you missed 2 weeks. What are your goals coming back to play in this playoff game?
So, I missed 2 weeks out with a concussion, and I'm really psyched to be back and back with the team. And I think we got this.
How does it feel to go into a playoff game as a team? Since the last time you were a freshman where you guys lost to Cranford, how do you feel to be starting in this game and to be playing in this game?
I think it's just the atmosphere is great. I wasn't sitting on the sideline on that game wishing I was playing, and now it's true. So I'm excited. I think we got a good chance at this, and we move on to next week.
All right, thank you, Luke. No Troy, thank you. We'll go back to you.
Thanks, Ilian. So, what were your thoughts about what Luke was saying? What did you think?
I think Luke was very accurate when he was talking about we have to come with that intensity to win a playoff game. We haven't been to a playoff game since my freshman year. Like I talked with Luke, he hasn't stepped into that stage playing in a playoff game yet. Since the last time was when we lost to Cranford in the first round, and I feel like he did say a couple things that we do need to improve on. I also want to talk about Wayne Valley's they won against Ridgewood. What are your thoughts on that, Troy?
I thought that was a very big win for them because, they're coming off 2 big wins now versus them and against Mount Olive. And now they have a whole game in the playoffs. So it looks like they've brought that momentum they got from last week against Mount Olive and carried it over for not just a 1-score but 2-score win, which I think was very big for them as they are the overall 1 seed in Group 5 right now.
Yeah, I agree. So now as we go back to the Wade Hills Patriots, Mikey Fitzsimmons passed it for 183 yards and 3 touchdowns. Jack Monacero, 23 yards. Aaron Verrett, 194 yards with 3 touchdowns.
Really
and Mongelli with 83 yards and 2 touchdowns. A really big game for Aaron Verrett. He had a really good game, and he really showing that we had that momentum going into that game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If you look at us in Valley, 2 big wins heading into, now this playoff week as they have a home game against Chatham tonight. And we go to West Morris tonight. So definitely 2 big games. What do you think about 2 games tonight?
I think we just got to bring the momentum. Both teams got to bring the momentum. We need a playoff game. We need to win a playoff game because it would be really good to hear this week. So now, Troy, you were able to interview Coach Canonico about his thoughts going into the playoff. Yep. Let's go to that real quick.
Thanks, Ilian. I'm here with Coach Canonico. So, Coach, how do you feel the regular season?
I thought we left a couple of wins behind. I've yet to see a full team 4 quarters team to come out and win. I think if we do that, I think if we play 4 quarters, I think we're going to be hard to beat. I really do.
So what do you think has to improve heading into the playoffs?
I think our focus has to be 100% from everyone, especially our linemen. Our linemen can't have brain farts. They can't. I think that's what cost us against PV, where we were up 14-0 at half, and Caldwell. I think that's what cost us. Those are the 2 games that stick into my mind that we should have won and we could have won.
So how do you feel this team is going to handle the pressure of the playoffs?
I think we've been practicing pretty good lately. The last couple of days have been really good practices, which scares me sometimes because we have good practice and then we don't show up for the game. But I think we're focused. I think we understand what we're doing. I think we got a healthy team now back, and I think the line looks pretty good right now. They know what they're doing, and I think we're going to be hard to beat. If we could get by this one game, I think we're going to be hard to beat.
Kind of just asking this, but how do you feel like the team's mindset is developing this week of practice heading into what's soon to be?
I think it's real good right now. Like I said, if the linemen don't have brain farts, they're going to be fine. I think we're going to be fine.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
You got it. Thanks.
Thanks, Troy. So what can you imply about what Coach was talking about us going into the playoff as a team?
I think he was spot on with what he said. He's like, we can't have those mental mistakes like we've had in some games throughout the season. I mean, if you look at some of the losses we had, like Passaic Valley, Caldwell, like those are just mental mistakes that called us. And I still, to this day, I still believe that we're a better team than both of them. It's just those mental mistakes that we can't have now entering this playoff time. And he said, we have to rise to the occasion, rise to the moment of the playoffs. So, yeah, I think he was spot on.
Yeah. So now I want to talk about after the Indians won, you had Ferrulo passing for 191 yards, 1 touchdown. Darius Rivers and Bryce Flowers with 74 yards, 1 touchdown, 53 yards. Rushing leader Eli Estevez with 80 yards and 1 touchdown. What do you think? I mean, they're bringing that intensity since they are stepping up from their following victories. But I feel like we also have to bring that intensity too, like they're bringing to the table.
Yeah, I definitely think Valley, I mean, they had those 2 losses in a row, one to us and then one to Rampo. I definitely think like they've coming back since then, and all credit to them. I mean, they had 2 big wins that have now gotten them a home game in the playoffs, and I think they're at one of their strongest points in the season right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. So now you have us. We're playing tonight. West Morris at 7:30. They're 7-2, and Wayne Valley's playing Chatham. They're 6-2. What are your thoughts going into that game for us?
I definitely think for us, West Morris runs the wing T, and we've seen a wing T team already, West Essex, and it didn't exactly go our way. But I definitely think like we've improved a lot since then. Like we're gonna learn from our mistakes, and I think tonight. I think it all comes down to our defense tonight because I think our offense is definitely – you saw what we did last week, 42 points up and down the field, and I think tonight has potential to be no different. So I think if our defense rides to that occasion and shuts down the wing T, I think it's going to be a good night.
I completely agree, and we've had a really good week of practice. You could tell by all the coaches bringing all the energy to us because we're having really good weeks of practice. And I think with the wing T, I don't think we have to worry that much. Even with West Essex, we weren't that familiar with it. But now that we practice more, we had really good practice, I think we're ready for our defense to step up against their wing T.
Yeah, and then moving over to Wayne Valley versus Chatham. I mean, I personally don't know much about Chatham. I know they're from the same kind of area West Morris is from, those Morris County schools. So, we're both seeing a Morris County school. So I think Wayne Valley, I mean, they're the higher seed. I think they played the tougher schedule. They have the bigger wins. I think their weapons play, and as you can see recently, their weapons play good in those big games, and I think it'll be no different tonight.
Yeah, I think Valley could come out with the win. It's at that point bringing the intensity and using the weapons that you have to good use.
Right, and now we've talked about the 2 rivals in Wayne, we will go talk about the DePaul Spartans and the PCTI Bulldogs.
Welcome back to Wayne Sports Network. Now that we talked about the Patriots and the Indians, we're moving to focus on the Spartans and the Bulldogs. So, Troy, previous week for DePaul, they ended up losing in overtime to the Barton, 52-51.
I mean, I kind of predicted it in our show last week, right? I mean, I told you they're not better than Bergen, but they're still one of the best teams in Jersey, but they lost that big game against Del Barton.
I mean, I was very sad to hear about that because I wanted them to keep that undefeated record because it's literally at that point they were the only team in Wayne that had the undefeated record. So I feel like, I mean, it wasn't really a bad game. It was a really tough game to win. It was 52-51, bringing up big points in the game. What are your thoughts about the game?
Definitely, like, you can't even say anything bad about DePaul because, look, I mean, maybe about DePaul's defense because, living up in the 50s, but DePaul's offense still just lights out every single week. You had Derek Samet throwing for 305 yards and 4 touchdowns. Desir Jones, 132 yards, 3 touchdowns. Elijah Burris receiving for 125 yards and 1 touchdown, and Nolan James rushing for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, those are still monster stats. Like, you can't take any credit away from DePaul because offensively they still played a lights-out game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, they're always using their weapons on offense, and I feel like even though they lost the game, their offense was still able to put major points on it. It made it a really interesting game for DePaul. So now we're discussing PCTI's records. They're 6-2. What were your thoughts on the previous game that they played?
They put up, not really a blowout, but not that much of a close game versus Passaic. They won 27-14, and I think, PCTI, they needed that win heading into the playoffs now this week. They play Plainfield at home, which I think they should win, but, definitely a confidence booster beating a team like Passaic, who definitely Passaic, not one of the stronger programs you'll see in North Jersey, but their running back is leading, he's in the top 5 in rushing yards in the state of New Jersey right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you had their quarterback, Gabe Miles, throwing for 60 yards, 1 touchdown. Joel Perez, 25 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael Simon, 18 yards. And Kadir Young, 90 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean, it's just implying those weapons that they have, they're able to come out with a victory. And I agree with you. I think they're going to come out with a victory against Plainfield in their home field.
Yeah, I definitely think Plainfield, I don't know much about them. I think they could definitely put up a fight, but in the end, I think PCTI takes it.
So this is it for today. Thanks for tuning in for another week of Wayne Sports Network as we head into week 1 of the playoffs. Always, I'm Ilian Nunez, accompanied with Demikoff. Have a good one.